Hi, I'm Lee Williams, Managing Editor for News at the Star-Telegram, and this is Deanna Boyd, a veteran police reporter here. And we're here today to talk about the remarkable life of Marci Garvin and the disturbing circumstances surrounding her death at age 39. Deanna, what first drew you into this case?
Well, I think what really stood out about the case is that, Marci came from a very good family. Her father had been a Fort Worth police officer for more than 20 years. He then retired and went and worked as a criminal investigator with the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office and was, in fact, working with them at the time of his daughter's death. Her mom was a well-known advocate for the disabled. She had worked several years as a family representative for Tarrant County MHMR. So these were very good parents who were very active in the community, and so the fact that their daughter would later die under circumstances in which authorities were alleging neglect really stood out and made it a case I wanted to know more about.
Tell us what you've learned about Marci's life and what was so remarkable about it.
Well, Marci was really a shining example of what the severely disabled could achieve. Even though she was born with cerebral palsy, was mostly blind, deaf, couldn't communicate, couldn't walk. She achieved so much in her life. She went to Fort Worth schools for several years. She later actually got a job, which is kind of a national rarity for somebody with that severe disabilities. She worked right here at the Star-Telegram in the Human Resources Department for several years, using some specialized equipment to both staple and shred papers. She just did more than just sit in a wheelchair at a daycare or in her family's living room. She really participated and was productive in the community, which, like I said, is pretty rare when you're talking to someone with such severe disabilities.
Yeah, national experts say that, she's an example that they still use today when giving talks about the severely disabled.
Right.
So after the indictments were handed down for her father and her sister, Tabby Martin Jack, were you surprised to learn about the depth of the investigation that followed those indictments?
Right. Well, the investigation that followed Marci's death went beyond just the alleged roles that her father, Mike Garvin, and her sister, Tabby Martin Jack, played. It looked at some of the agencies that had been involved with this family. Marci was enrolled in a Medicaid waiver program for several years, which essentially paid her sister to be her foster care provider. And it also put certain agencies in contact with this family. The service provider who could offer nursing services or respite care or various services, as well as Tarrant County MHMR, which provided kind of case coordination and would visit Marci at least quarterly, but what was really supposed to be monthly. So you had all these agencies that were constantly in contact, and yet no red flags were ever raised that there was any problems inside the home.
But clearly there were problems. When she was taken to the hospital, she was covered with bed sores, and she weighed, 50 to 60 pounds.
Yes.
And she was in horrific condition when she went to the hospital.
Exactly. She weighed about half her normal body weight. She had more than 20 sores that covered her from head to toe. She was covered in feces, urine, had bugs. To the doctors and nurses at the hospital, it was an obvious picture of neglect.
So on the surface, it appears that the very people who were charged with her care may have contributed to her death. What's next in this case?
Well, it's kind of a twofold answer to that. One is the criminal case. Obviously, the sister and her father were both indicted on a charge of injury to the disabled by omission. There has been no trial date set, and they were both currently free on bond. On the other side, however, the state is recommending, based on the investigation that was done by Adult Protective Services, that the names of 2 employees be added to the employee misconduct registry. Now, these were employees of the service providers who were supposed to be there helping Marci, offering services, helping the family. Basically, the state is alleging that they neglected Marci, neglected their jobs, and making sure she was getting the proper care and living in a safe environment. They are both appealing. These 2 employees are both appealing. And the appeal hearings are set for this month. If they don't win those appeals, their names will be added to the employee misconduct registry, and they will never be allowed to work at a facility or agency that's regulated by the Department of Aging and Disability Services again.
Okay. Well, thank you, Deanna. We'll be keep watching you for updates.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.